Hey guys, it's Melissa here with Web of Creativity, and I am sharing with you this sewing box card. Yes, I said it's a card because it looks like a sewing box, but it opens up. It says happy birthday. How cute is that? Alright, so this video I'm going to show you how to make the whole project, how to make the boxes. I give you all the measurements. These flowers are part of a paper collection, and then we've got this little cute spool, which is from Michaels, and the collection I used is a Heartfelt Creations Buttons and Blooms collection. So cute. So we're gonna I'm gonna again give you all the dimensions and directions on how to make this entire project. From making all the boxes to making it look like a sewing box, and oops, and there we go. All right, let's get started. We're going to work on our boxes. So we're going to need one long box and then 4 of these short boxes. So this long box is 7 inches by 4, and the short box is 3.5 by 4. So to get started, we will need 5 sheets of cardstock. So we're going to want one 12 by 12 craft cardstock. And we're going to need 4 8.5 by 11 cream cardstock. And we're going to trim them down. So for the 12 by 12 craft cardstock, we're going to want to trim this to 10 by 11. And then for the 4 cream colors, we're going to trim to 6.5 by 11. And then we're going to score them. So on the 10 by 11, doesn't quite fit on this camera, but we'll make it work. So on the 11-inch side at the top, we're going to score at 1 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch, and 10. So again, we're going to score at 1 inch, 5, 6, and 10. We're going to rotate. So for the 10-inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 1.5. Then I'm going to rotate my paper all the way around so I can score the opposite side at the same. So we're going to do 1/2 inch and 1.5, which is also 8.5 by 9.5. I just like to rotate it to get that close to that edge. That's just how I like it. So we got all these score lines, and then for our 6.5 by 11, on the 11-inch side, it's going to be the same measurements as the larger piece. So we're going to score at 1, 5, 6, and 10. Rotate. We're going to score at 1/2 inch and 1.5 inch. Rotate to the other side. Going to score 1/2 inch and 1.5 inch. Let me move this out of the way. And our next step is trimming our paper. So we're going to need a craft knife. Mine's a little dirty. This is a Martha Stewart craft knife, and I just replaced the blade. I like to use Tim Holtz ruler because it has a metal edge. So when you're craft knives against the metal edge, it doesn't nick the edge of the ruler. I have nicked this side several times. So, going back to our 6.5 by 11, there are several pieces that we're going to trim, and I've already traced on here with pencil so you can see it a little bit better. So for this first section, we have a 1-inch score line here, and then this is the 5 and the 6 score line. So we want to cut these two pieces out. So I'm going to make a mark. So these two get cut out. Then we have this 5 and 6-inch score line, and we're going to just cut this line to trim up to this score line, which is the 1.5 score line. And then I have this little piece here. This is going to get cut. All right, that's a 1/2 inch section. The same with the other side. Now our last score line is our 10-inch score line. We're going to trim that, and then we're going to cut off this 1/2 inch section on both sides. Now, if you don't like to use your craft knife and ruler, you can easily just cut this with scissors. The edges aren't going to be too noticeable since you're going to, we're going to only see the two sides at the front, and then we're wrapping it with paper. So you're not really going to see too much of our edges. So if they're a little crooked, you're not going to be able to tell. So we're going to use a craft knife or scissors, and I'm going to cut to the point where I drew. So this is the 5-inch score line, and I cut that off. Then I'm going to just trim the 6-inch, and I'm going to cut off that 1/2 inch little tab piece. I'm not going to need it. Then this last score line, which is the 10-inch score line, and this little last 1/2 inch section here. That's one side. So I made this, and this is our tabs for attaching the box. Cut off. Alright, cut off that section, and then we're going to cut these two guys, and then trim off this 1/2 inch tab we don't need. Okay. I'm going to erase my lines on the side. You don't have to draw lines, but you can if it helps you see, especially with this lighter color cardstock. It is easier to see. Alright, so I'm flipping over, and I'm going to fold on all the score lines, and I have my bone folder, and I'm just going to run it down all the folds that we're doing. So I'm folding on all the score lines. They're all getting folded the same direction. So this is our side of the box that I'm scoring right now. And then I'm going to fold on these score lines, which is our top of our box, and then the side. Alright, so make sure that we scored on all of our fold on all of our score lines going the same direction. Then I'm going to turn it the opposite direction. So this is the mountain side, all of our pieces. And I'm going to add our tape. So first, we have our 2 tabs right here. That's going to go on the inside of the box. And then this tab right here. So we're going to do that for both sides of the box. Alright, repeat for the opposite side. So we're going to do the 2 1-inch tabs. We're going to do this 1/2 inch tab. And then this other 1-inch tab. And lastly, we're going to attach tape to this 1-inch tab down here. So these 1-inch tabs, I'm putting 2 pieces of tape, and I'm using 3/8. That's not 3/8, is it? 3/8 inch tape. Okay. I'm going to put a craft paper down just so you can see it a little bit better. Because my cardstock is cream colored, it is a little bit harder to see. Alright, so I'm going to fold this back this way, or flip it, and we're going to attach these tabs first. So this guy's going to go in, and then our pieces are going to go to the side. So first, I'm going to remove our tape. Oops. Tape, remove the tape, and we're going to line up the edge. So we're going to move that in, line it up so it is even. Repeat for the other side. So we're going to line up and make sure it's even. There. So now we got those 2 corners down. We're going to do the same for the other 2 corners. So again, when this happens, we want to make sure this top piece is out of the way because this guy's going to get folded. So we're going to line it up. Again, making sure this guy can get folded right in there. Okay. And then let me remove this tape. And lining it up. There we go. Now we have our base of our box done. And we're going to remove the tape from the sides and the top and slowly maneuver our top piece in our box. Uh-oh. I think I made the box a little too tight, which is fine. I'm just going to taper these edges. So I'm going to cut from the score line up at an angle. Score line to an angle. And then this guy will slide right on in there. Yep. Alright. What I'm going to do is also, and I should have done this before, but I'm going to taper this part as well. So I just trimmed it at an angle, you see? Alright, removing the tape. Moving the tape. Okay. And oops. So making sure that my sides are going to be attached as I'm working my way to the top. Make sure my piece is all the way in there. And then seal. So there is box. Now I have 2 boxes, identical to each other. To make 2 more, just like these. And we're going to go ahead and work on our craft one. So I'm going to draw the lines on this one. So hold on one second. Okay. It's harder to see for some reason on the craft. Probably because it's darker paper. But it's exactly the same as the cream colored. So we're going to cut down and off this top section. So we want to cut these pieces. Then we have our 5" and 6" score line that we will cut, but not cut off. And then this little half-inch tab, we will cut off. And then our last score line at 10 inches. And we will cut those little 1/2" sections off. All right. Okay, then we're going to repeat for the other side. Alright, so now we have all of our pieces cut. I'm going to flip over and fold on all the score lines. Again, I'm folding them all the same direction. Now that I have them all folded, flip back over to the mountainside and add some tape. So we're adding the tape in the same exact spots as the little box. So we're taping this 1" tab and this 1/2" tab. 1" tab again. Then we're going to repeat for the other side. And our last 1" tab. And before I fold, I'm going to go ahead and taper the 1" tab inwards. I'm going to go ahead and do that on this 1/2 inch tab for the side. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and start attaching. So I'm going to remove the tape from our corner first. Make sure it's lined up and attach. Make sure it's lined up and attach. Oh, I did not erase. I'll wait until it's attached. Okay, so then I'm going to line up and attach. And line up and attach. Alright, that looks good. Let's remove the tape backing. Alright. Make sure everything looks good as we're closing the lid. Perfect. And there's our box. We got these 2 boxes. All right, now we need 2 more. Alright, so our next step is to attach all of our boxes. So I made them all. So for our bottom 2 boxes, I have added tape to the back and only one side. So when it tape to the bottom and on one side. So we're going to attach this one box first, and then remove the tape backing from the side, and then attach this box. We need to attach a hinge to the top of these sets before we attach these sets. So the hinge will attach to the bottom, so there's no tape, but there is tape to the side. So we'll attach these 2 guys together first, and then attach our hinge. So our hinge piece is 2 inches by 6 3/4, and then we're going to score it in half on the 2-inch side. So with the paper on the 2-inch side, we're just going to score it at 1 inch. I'm going to fold it in half and use our bone folder, and then add our tape. So we're going to add tape to both sides of the hinge. Okay. So we're going to attach one of our boxes first. And it's going to be even with the front, back, and side. So we're going to just line everything up. I'm going to remove the tape on the side and get this guy prepped. Now when we attach them, we want to make sure that we're attaching it with the rounded edge, not the piece that's that you can see. This is the edge. So we want to make sure it's the smooth side. So we're going to attach that to, there we go. So of course we're going to lightly handle this box so we're not squishing it. Okay. Alright, next is the hinge. So we're going to attach it to the back flush. So I'm going to turn this around to the back side. We're going to go flush to the edge. Alright, then we're going to attach these two guys together. And again, we want to make sure we're attaching the front facing one, which is the smooth edge, and eyeball it. Make sure it's even. And before I attach it, I'm just checking to make sure how it's going to look. Alright, I'm going to turn this around so I can attach my pieces. And again, I want to make sure that the smooth side is at the front and the line side where you see the seam there is on the back. I'll go ahead and set it on there, make sure it looks good. Now I'll remove. Now remember when you're pressing on it, not to press too hard because these are hollow boxes. Alright, so I'm going to line up. Make sure it looks good in the front. Oh, sure does. And give it a little bit of pressure. And then we're going to open it. So that's the back. It's the front. So then I'm going to go ahead and give a little pressure here. Alright, that looks good. We do got some magnets to attach just to make sure this guy stays closed, because we will be putting some paper in here, some birthday wishes, so we're going to have a magnet closure. In the meantime, we can cut out our pattern paper. So I have 3 sheets here, one for the top and then 2 for the inside, and all of these are the same size, and they are 6 7/8 inches by 3 7/8 inches. Now with the 7/8, it's because I made it pretty close, so it's like a 1/16 inch border. However, if you're scared of the 7/8 inches, the 5/8, things like that, then you can do 6 3/4 by 3 3/4, and that'll give you 1/8 of an edge, so about like that. So either one you want to do, but I did 6 7/8 by 3 7/8. Then we have our border pieces. So we got all these strips that I cut out. So the blues for the bottom piece here, and then that's two strips, and this is what is this, 7/8 by 11 inches. So if you want that more of a border, you can do 3/4 by 3/4 inch by 12 inches. And then for the 4 boxes here, we got these are 7/8 by 11 inches. I said 12 inches for these, didn't I? So this is 7/8 by 12, and there's 4 7/8 by 11. And again, if you don't want to do the 7/8, you can just do 3/4 inch. So we got those. What I forgot to mention was I did ink the edges of these papers. So for the blue, I used Distress Ink Faded Jean. And for the yellow, I used Distress Ink Scattered Straw. Alright, so I'm going to attach my first mat on the top here. With a 1/16 border. And again, don't press hard. And then our inside. So these are all 6 7/8 by 3 7/8. So my inside here is going to have the same little border. Okay. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and attach our strip to the bottom. We're going to attach the back side first using a Tim Holtz ruler to find our center point, because Tim Holtz has a center point on it. And because our strips aren't long enough to go all the way around, we're going to use 2 strips, of course. And making sure it's about even. And then I want to add, make sure we're having about 1/18 of an inch on the bottom and centered. There we go. And then wrapping it around. Alright, we'll do our front side. So when they meet on the side, we'll put something there, a little strip of something. My about centered. There's our bottom portion. So we're going to do our bottom, our middle layer next. And then our top layer we're going to wait on and not attach it, because we do have some magnets to attach to keep this guy closed. Since we're going to add a couple of embellishments on the inside, wishing them a happy birthday. So, with this one, we're going to start from that middle piece right here, and we're going to keep that gap showing, so it looks like the box does open outwards like the sewing boxes do. And then of course we're going to make sure it's even with the 1/16 inch border centered. So let me, then we're going to wrap it around. And wrap it around again. Okay, then we'll take our second piece. Meet in the middle. Make sure it's even with the first one. Wrap it around. There we go. So we still got that separation there, so it's going to look like these boxes move outwards instead of opening. Alright, so our next piece is making our little hinge pieces. Alright, so we want 4 of our sewing box hinges, and those are 1/2 inch by 2 inches. I'm going to take my We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile and trim the corners with my 1/4 inch corner rounder. So when you put it in the second side after hitting the first side, it's goes further in than you need to. So just eyeball it and to make sure that you get that clean oval shape. So you're going to do that with all 4 of your hinges. And then we're going to take 2 of them and add our tape to the back. And 2 of them, we're only going to add tape to part of the back since it's going to have a magnet on it. Alright, so for 2 of my hinges, I have full tape. For the other 2, I have tape on the bottom at 3/4 inches. And then the top, I put a magnet. This is a 1/4 inch magnet. So, we're going to take our box and we're going to attach our first hinge piece. On the bottom part here, it's going to be 1 1/4 inch in. So I'm going to line that up at 1 1/4 inch. And then the top portion here is going to be 2 inches in. So I'm going to move this out 2 inches. And there we go. So again, the bottom is 1 1/4 inch. And then this is 2 inches. So we're going to do that on both sides. So we're going to go 1 1/4. Which is a little bit harder to do on this side. And then 2 inches. I'm facing the wrong way. That's why it's difficult. Let's try that again. Okay. 1 1/4. Looks good. And then 2 inches. There we go. Alright, for our second piece, before we attach, I'm going to add our second magnet on top and put some tape on there. And my little tape. If I can't get it to stick, we'll put a piece of paper in between there. But I'm going to go ahead and take my tape backing off of my magnet. And we are going to attach this guy. The bottom is going to be at a 1/2 inch. So we'll attach our bottom piece at a 1/2 inch, and our top piece is going to be 1 1/4. So before I attach him, I'm going to make sure I'm holding the box completely closed. And slowly lift off, trying to separate my magnet. He did not separate. I'm going to put a piece of paper in between to make it a little bit easier. Paper. There we go. 1 1/4 inch. Hold. There we go. So there's our magnet, and we're going to go ahead and put some tape on it real quick. It's going to close on me. I should have grabbed my tape first. Let me grab my piece of tape. There we go. Oh, that looks good. Look at that. Oh, love it. Okay, next one. Oh, put piece there. Put our magnet there. Oh, I'm gonna repeat. Put a piece of paper first, which is a scratch hinge piece, or spare hinge piece. Add my tape to my magnet. And I removed the whole tape. Alright, let me try that again. Okay. Remove my tape on the bottom. And I said, what, 1/2 inch? And our 1/2 inch. And this top is 1 1/4 inches. Okay, we're going to have to move that. 1 1/4. And holding the box closed, and I lost my 1 1/4 inch. Holding the box closed. Oh, that looks even. And then, oh, I'm going to get my tape ready first. My tape, hold, and pull. There we go. Oh, it looks good. It looks good. Alright, so now that our magnets are attached, we are going to add our strip of paper around the edge, just as we did for the layer below it. And I'm going to remove my tape from my magnet. And get up on that edge, have the center it, have that 1/16 inch border. Roll it around. I can close it now. Roll it around. Okay, next piece. Open. Okay. There we go. Now it's ready to be decorated. And the piece that overlapped on the side, I'm going to cut out a little piece for that too. But it's looking good. So I, not knowing what I wanted to do, I cut out a bunch of flowers from the paper collection and buttons, and I'm just making this smooth where the magnet is, making sure my paper's smooth. Okay, so I cut out all this stuff. So I cut out all these flowers. I got some big flowers, little flowers to play with. I cut out some buttons because I was thinking about putting buttons on part of the hinge piece. Oops. And then I cut out some stuff for the inside. So we got some happy birthdays. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those. I have another birthday wish. So now I'm going to find some matching ink to ink my edges first, and then pick out what flowers I want for the inside, and shape the flowers that I want for the outside. So, and there's a paper in the collection that has all of these flowers and buttons in them. That's perfect, and I just cut out a bunch of them to figure out what I want to do. All right. Okay, so a couple of tips I want to go through while decorating the box. So I got these spools from, it says Art Mind spools. They're just little itty bitty spools, and they're from Michael's. So what I created was this little birthday banner with this spool, and curled the paper and wrapped it around the spool. So these spools, again, from Michael's, the paper is 3/8 inch long, and it's real simple. So I just took a little bit of tape and added it about like that. That might be a little too much, but I inked the edges of my paper, so I added my tape, and 3/8 inches perfect to fit right into that spool mark. And yeah, I might have had just a little too much tape, but that's all right. And then I just shaped it and then trimmed it off. So I just shaped it with my fingers, and that's how I made my little happy birthday wishes banner. And this piece of paper is from the collection, so I just trimmed that off. And that's so cute, so cute. Okay, so the next tip is for the flowers. So I cut them out of the paper collection, and then I just curled them, and then I'm going to attach them and stick them together just to make a little bit of dimension. So this is real easy. All I did was spray the back, patted it dry, and took a paintbrush handle and wrapped it around. So I'm just wrapping the petals around the paintbrush handle. And then pick the petal up just a little bit from the end and uncurl it. So I don't want a big curl, I just want a little shaping. And to repeat for the second flower, I'm running low on water. Okay. So I'm just going to wrap it. And I don't have my glue out, so I'm just going to grab a piece of tape real quick. I plan on gluing my flowers, but just to show you what I'm doing. So take 2 flowers, I'm going to offset them. And then just to flip them up just a little bit more. And there we go. So then I have this little dimensional flower. And again, I just cut these out of the paper collection. Alright, so I made a bunch of them. I haven't attached them yet. So I got some red and purples and oranges. Cut out this birthday wish and some buttons. Inked all of them with corresponding inks. So for the red I used Barn Door Distress ink. I got the picked raspberry for the pink, peacock feather for, there's a teal color for the teal. The orange is spiced marmalade, and the purple, I don't know where my purple went. Either I inked it with the blue ink, I think it did, or with his like jaded, Dated Jean, sorry, or probably Dusty Concord, one of those colors. Alright, so now I'm going to glue all these pieces together, and then we're going to work on decorating the box. So I also cut out a piece from the collection, this happy birthday from the collection. So this is going to be on the inside of the box. So I got big flower petals. I'm not going to shape them. I want them completely flat, and they'll just be like under the things. And then I cut out some more buttons. So this is going to be on the inside along with these pieces cut from the collection, and then the flowers. So let me attach all my flowers together, because right now they're just shaped, and then we'll get to decorating the album. Decorating the box. Alright, so while my flowers are drying, this is, I set up how I kind of want the inside to look with my happy birthday and my flowers. So I did get it set up just a little bit, and I'm going to use, I'm just going to peel off the layers to see where I want to put things. And I know I want my flower underneath this guy, so I'm going to attach him first. And I'm just going to attach him to, it's like his petal is on the back, and I know I have some tape back here. So I'm going to move my tape, and I'm just going to about like that. Looks good. And then I'm just going to put my pieces on again so I can figure out where I want to attach them all. But I'm going to remove my tape backing from my main piece and go ahead and attach it. I'm going to add some glue to my flower. So I'm just adding some glue off camera to my petals. because this guy, I do want it to be flat. So I added my glue. This is a cutout piece from the collection, and I'm going to attach, make sure it's even at the top and the bottom. Alright, so let's see, we wanted to attach my pink flower. So again, I'm just adding some glue off camera to my petals. I'm going to I have my box lid propped up a little bit. I don't want it to stay down and then it just kind of bends that hinge further back, and I don't want to do that. So let's see where I want my birthday sign. So I can see where I want my buttons. I'm going to attach my buttons first. Again, I'm just off camera adding my glue to my pieces. And using my tweezer type tool. Adding glue to my button. That's a good, there we go. That looks good. Okay, now I can add my main birthday piece. As long as it looks even. Alright. We got two more flowers to add. There we go. I don't want to cover up the birthday, but I want to add in my flower. And then one more little guy. Oh. There we go. How cute is that? Alright, so our next piece I have is I attached this little round guy to this tag guy, and then we're going to attach some flowers and some buttons. So this one is going to be a little bit different because I don't have much of a flat surface. I mean, I have a flat surface, it's just at an angle. So I'm going to remove the back of this guy tape and just lay it on these pieces, and then I'm going to glue the whole thing. So let's see, I want this guy to be about here, and I want a petal to stick out here. Make sure it still fits. And this guy about here. Then I have these 3 little buttons that I'm putting on this corner. So now I made my little piece. I'm going to glue, add glue to the whole thing, and then I'll be able to attach it right in the, yep, I think I'm just going to attach it in the center. Yep, center. So I'm just going to glue. I'm a little off camera, it's alright. Adding my glue to all my petals. All right. Alright, I'm setting it down kind of lightly. I'm going to make sure that I'm mostly in the center. Oh good, I was able to pick that up real easy. It'd be about, this would have been better if I didn't have glue on it. I'm not sure where the center is. I'm going to just lay this here. There we go. I'm going to judge like that. That looks about centered. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Now I'm lightly pressing down on it to get it to attach, while not pressing hard on the box. There we go. How cute. So before I close this, I'm going to let it dry. I don't need it sticking together. And then we can work on the outside. Alright, so I have my flowers dry, and this isn't attached yet, but you can see how I want to decorate the front. So I'm just going to start gluing my flowers down. And I do have a couple of double flowers, like this purple one, but I do have the 2 red and orange. That are just, the red and orange are just single flowers. And I'm only gluing, unlike the inside, these don't have to be flat. So I'm only gluing the middle part, which is that little button part. So my petals can pop up. Alright, I'm going to move this little guy and go ahead and attach these buttons. course, they don't have to be perfect. I just have a, you know, I like it to all work well. Okay, now I've already attached my buttons to my little have a wonderful birthday saying. I'm going to remove my tape backing and add a little more glue to the back of my buttons. Now attaching this, I do want the little hinge right here to pop up at the top, so I'm not completely covering it. Can you see the... You can still see the hinge piece. I'm trying not to completely cover it so you can see that it's there. I think that looks good. And my pink little flower. Alright, nice. How cute. It's coming along so good. Alright, now for the side piece that we have, that we want to cover that piece. So from the collection, there's these two, actually there's 4 little cutout pieces, and I think it would be perfect just to attach on the side. I do have some extra buttons. Let's see. Let's see if we want to add any or not. I haven't really checked to see what it would look like if we added some buttons at the top. Like that. Or just have that side piece. I think I'm just going to have the side piece. The side's not the most important, and it's just to cover that center piece. And I need to add my tape to these little squares. Alright, so I just I just added some tape to my square, and before I attach it, I'm going to go ahead and check for that center, because I want to make sure it's centered. Needs to be moved for just a smidge. There we go. You can definitely add some more flowers to the side. There's 2 cut apart pages for the flowers. I only used 1. Alright. Let's see. About like that. Okay. Perfect. Now we can work on the top. So the top that I have my spool. So I'm going to put glue on the bottom of the spool and a little on the end of the paper on this side, because it does come up. There's a gap close to the front, but at least this side I can attach. So I'm going to attach that, but before I do, I'm going to put all my pieces on there so I can see what it looks like. Alright, so I got placed my flowers where I want them. Now I'm going to go ahead and attach them, and then lastly we'll attach the spool, but I want to attach my flowers first. And again, I'm only attaching the middle. This box is coming right along, almost done. It looks awesome. Alright, there we go. Looks good. So now I'm going to add my glue to the bottom. I have a stronger glue. I think I'm going to use just for the wood piece. So I'm going to use my E6000. And I'm just going to use that for the wood, because I want to make sure it sticks. And okay, so I added my 6,000, and then I'm going to add some glue to the edge. I'm using a Q-tip. So just the last part of the piece. Now I'm going to wait for it to dry, but that is our sewing box card. Alright, everything's all dry and it is complete. I love the banner with the spool. I got the size pieces on, and then it opens right up. So cute. Alright, that is it for this card, antique sewing box card, and I have more videos and projects on my blog. Please go visit and check it out, www.webofcreativity.net. Thank you for watching.